Let's bring in Fox News contributor Joe Concha to talk about this. Joe, so a lot of legal experts said before this press conference that they were thinking that the announcement was going to be that the charges were either going to be reduced or dropped. He's facing felony charges here. That didn't happen, though. What do you think about this?
It's clearly, Carly and Todd, a misunderstanding. It's not like Scotty Scheffler was trying to upset an accident scene. Obviously, there was a problem, and there was somebody who was killed, unfortunately, with a bus right outside of the PGA Championship last week. I don't understand, from a PR perspective or from a common sense perspective, why Scotty Scheffler is now being treated like a felon when they should just say, you know, this clearly was something where he didn't know exactly what was happening. He was just trying to get to a tournament that he was playing in, a major tournament for that matter, and we reduce or drop the charges. I don't understand the Louisville police here, and we're all pro-police, but at this stage, Scotty Scheffler clearly didn't understand the situation, and these charges should be dropped. I think most people think that.
And, Joe, to that pro-police point, I've talked to a lot of people who are pro-police, i.e. people in law enforcement who say the way this was handled by Louisville does not appear to be good. And they themselves say Scotty Scheffler was in the right here based upon everything that they've seen so far. So let's keep that in mind as well. Meantime, New York Governor Kathy Hochul has a message to Trump supporters out there who showed up to his Bronx campaign event. Watch.
I'll tell you, it won't make a difference at all, Jake, and that is for Donald Trump to be the ringleader of and invite all his clowns to a place like the Bronx. New York will never, ever support Donald Trump. Joe Biden's out there on the other side, making sure he's delivering for all Americans. And so go ahead, spend all your time you want in New York, because we'll be with Joe Biden.
I'm going to get to my question first, a second, but Carly asked a very good question. I'm going to borrow her question. Why does Kathy Hochul sound Southern if she's from Buffalo, New York? Feel free to answer that whenever. My question for you, Joe, the left never seems to learn its lesson, exposing its disdain for half the country. Why, Joe?
Wow. Yeah, I think you're right as far as Kathy Hochul going full Hillary Clinton. Every time Hillary went down south, she suddenly became Daisy Duke. So go figure on that. But I just don't understand why you would attack the supporters of a former president who got 74 million votes. Obviously, that was a very happy, festive rally we saw yesterday in the South Bronx. Tens of thousands of people reportedly show up. I don't get why you run to CNN and go to Jake Tapper, who has the very pensive listening face, instead of actually challenging Kathy Hochul. He'll be a great debate moderator, by the way, in June. I just don't understand why you continue to do this when that was the turning point in 2016, when Hillary Clinton declared that Trump supporters were a basket of deplorables, called them racist, called them xenophobic, and attacked them like an elitist would. That is Kathy Hochul as well. I just don't get it. You're right. It's a question that has no answer.
Yeah, Joe, and not only is she attacking Trump supporters or Americans, she's attacking her own constituents by calling them clowns.
Right. And
in 2020, Donald Trump lost New York by 23 percentage points. Now he's only down in the state by 9 points. So don't you think she would be better served if she listened to that speech yesterday, listened to the points that he's bringing up, the topics that he's addressing, and look at all the people that are responding to that and maybe take a page out of that playbook?
Yeah, and she referenced Joe Biden is here and he's delivering. Where's the Joe Biden rally in the South Bronx? Where's any Joe Biden rally happening at this point? You got to want the job, and Joe Biden doesn't appear to want the job very much based on his schedule, based on the fact that even though Donald Trump is literally like handcuffed by being in this trial in Lower Manhattan, has to do rallies in Wildwood, New Jersey, or the South Bronx. We don't see very much of Joe Biden at this point. So, yeah, Carly, you're exactly right. I just do not understand why Democrats think they could speak down to people and gain their votes at the same time. Donald Trump now down single digits in New York, dead heat in Virginia, dead heat in Minnesota. single digits also in New Jersey. Everything is in play. Ronald Reagan won New York in 1980. Why can't he do it again? As far as Donald Trump, as far as the Republicans.
Yeah.
Carly's really well-placed point. Kathy Hochul, of all people, should realize what her people are telling her, because she almost lost to Lee Zeldin.
That's true.
Let's not forget that.
And a lot of people at the rally yesterday were disaffected Democrats.
Exactly.
So you're right, Joe, that you don't gain votes back by criticizing those people.
Joe, have a great weekend. We will see you when we do. Be safe out there.
Yes.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.